The Secret of the Genetic Bond. Dr. Michael almost dropped the coffee cup in his hand as he scanned the screens in his lab. He couldn't believe his eyes. He had made an unexpected discovery in the Human Genome Project he had been working on for years. There was an unexplained foreign sequence in human DNA. This is impossible, he muttered, his eyes locked on the genetic code dancing across the screen. An international conference was immediately organized. Genetic scientists, biologists, and space scientists from around the world gathered in Istanbul. When Dr. Michael presented his findings, the room froze. "Dear colleagues," he said in a shaky voice, "we have discovered unexplained genetic sequences in human DNA that do not belong to any other species on Earth. These sequences cannot be explained by any evolutionary process that we know of." A buzz went up in the hall. Excited whispers circulated among the scientists. Just then, the doors of the conference room opened and men in black suits entered. The leading man introduced himself as the head of the World Space Agency. "Dr. Michael, we need to talk to you in private," he said with a serious expression. Michael followed them in amazement. Behind closed doors, they revealed an incredible truth to him. Humanity was not alone. For years, the governments of the world had been making secret contacts with alien beings. "Your discovery is confirmation of a theory we have long suspected," said the head of the agency. "The origins of humanity are far more complex than we realized." Days later, in a simultaneous broadcast around the world, this fact was made public. Humanity was a species genetically modified by aliens. This announcement shook the world to its foundations. Religions began to be questioned. Societies were thrown into turmoil. Some rejected the truth, others proclaimed the beginning of a new age of enlightenment. Michael found himself in the midst of this chaos. He was no longer just a scientist, but a figure who would shape the destiny of humanity. He was put in charge of an international team created to communicate with aliens and understand the origins of humanity. After months of preparation, the first official contact took place. The aliens arrived in a gigantic spaceship orbiting the Earth. The most important meeting in human history took place at the United Nations building. The aliens were beings beyond human imagination. With their tall, slender bodies and large black eyes, they resembled the classic depictions of gray aliens, but their skin color was bluish and their heads had complex, luminous patterns. Their leader introduced himself as Zar-El. He could communicate telepathically with humans. "You," Zar-El said in a resonant voice, "are our greatest experiment. Millions of years ago, we came to your planet and modified the genetics of your primitive ancestors. Our goal was to create a species unique in the universe." This statement shocked everyone in the room. Michael stepped forward and asked, "Why? Why did you create us?" Zar-El's eyes lit up. "Because we could no longer evolve. Our species had reached a genetic dead end. You are our future." This statement raised new questions. Was humanity an alien experiment or their salvation? Michael and his team began working with the aliens. They were trying to unlock the secrets of alien sequences in human DNA. Each new discovery redefined the potential and limits of humanity. But this process was not easy. Chaos reigned on Earth. Some groups began to see the aliens as gods. Others declared them enemies. Governments were struggling to adapt to this new reality. One night, while working in his laboratory, Michael received an unexpected visitor. Zar-El suddenly appeared in front of him. "I've come to show you the truth, Michael," he said. The alien leader placed his hand on Michael's forehead and an image flashed through his mind. It was a memory from millions of years ago. The aliens were seen altering the DNA of primitive humans. "We only unlocked the potential that already existed," Zar-El said. "It was already inherent in your species. We just accelerated it." Michael was shaken by what he saw. "What about now? Why did you come back?" A look of concern appeared in Zar-El's eyes. "Because we need your help. Our species is on the verge of extinction. Those alien sequences in your DNA are the key to our species' survival." This statement touched Michael deeply. Could humanity be the savior of its creators? As the months passed, the cooperation between humans and aliens deepened. Conflicts on Earth gradually gave way to a common purpose. As humanity came to understand its origins, it also began to question its place in the universe. By studying the DNA of the aliens, Michael and his team were trying to find a solution to save their progeny. In the process, they discovered how powerful and adaptive the alien sequences in human DNA actually are. We are stronger than you, Michael told Zar-El one day. Our DNA is more flexible, more resilient than yours. Zar-El nodded. Yes, because you are our evolved form. You have a potential we can't even imagine. This discovery marked the beginning of a new era for humanity. They realized that they were no longer just citizens of Earth, but of the universe. Together with the aliens, they took the first steps towards building an intergalactic civilization. But this new era also brought new questions and challenges. Had humanity evolved of its own free will, or was it still under alien control? How would other species in the galaxy react to this new alliance? As Michael gazed out of his laboratory window at the stars, he thought of the infinite possibilities that lay ahead for humanity. He knew now that the story of humanity was not limited to Earth. Their destiny was written in the stars. And perhaps, Michael thought, humanity's true mission was now beginning. To understand and perhaps save not only themselves, but the entire universe. As humanity and the aliens took their first steps into the unknown together, the universe was watching them. Because now they knew that every ending was a new beginning, and their story was just beginning. 5 years after Michael's discovery, Earth had changed beyond recognition. The cooperation between humanity and aliens had accelerated technological and scientific advances. Cities were now filled with soaring platforms as well as tall towers. Space travel had become part of everyday life. Michael was in charge of the newly established Galactic Research Center on the Moon. It was a huge complex where human and alien scientists worked together. But lately, Michael had a nagging worry. One day, while he was working in his lab, his assistant Theory came in a hurry. "Dr. Michael, you must see this urgently." Michael's face paled as he analyzed the data Theory had brought him. Alien genes in human DNA had begun to activate with unexpected consequences. This is incredible, Michael said, his eyes locked on the genetic code dancing across the screen. The human body is integrating alien genes and evolving. Cases began to be reported around the world. Some people were developing telepathic abilities, while others were changing physically. Blue-toned skin, large eyes, and increased mental capacities were becoming common. This development divided society. Some embraced this change, while others claimed it was the end of humanity. Protests broke out. Governments went into crisis. Zar-El and other alien leaders called an emergency meeting. Michael attended this meeting, representing the leaders of Earth. "We could not have foreseen this development," Zar-El said with a worried expression. "Your DNA is adapting our genes in an unexpected way. You are evolving faster than we are." Michael stepped forward. "What about the consequences? Where will this change end?" Zar-El's eyes lit up. "We don't know. You are becoming a species unlike any other in the universe. Your potential is limitless." This statement created a new wave of fear. Was humanity undergoing uncontrolled change? Michael and his team worked frantically to understand and guide this new evolutionary process. But time was against them. Every day, more and more people were changing. One night, while Michael was working in his lab, something unexpected happened. The genetic sample in his hand suddenly began to glow. The light filled the entire room, and Michael found himself in an unknown dimension. Beings made of light appeared in front of him. "Welcome, Michael," said one of them in a voice that echoed in his mind. "We are the guardians of the universe." Michael asked in surprise, Who are you?" "We went through the same evolutionary stage billions of years ago that you are going through now," the being said. Humanity and Zar-El's species were part of a cosmic experiment. Now we are seeing the fruits of that experiment. Michael was confused. So, this was all planned? No and yes, the being said. We just planted the seed. How you grow is entirely up to you, and you have exceeded our expectations. Michael was beginning to wake up to reality. But what about now? Where will this change lead? The presence answered with a radiant smile. That depends on you. You no longer belong to just one planet or one species. You are children of the universe itself. Michael opened his eyes and found himself in his laboratory. But nothing was the same anymore. There was a new understanding, a new power in his mind. He immediately called a meeting of world leaders and Zar-El. He told them what he had seen and learned. Our destiny, Michael said with a new sparkle in his eyes, is not just to understand this universe, but to shape it. We are no longer just humans or aliens. We are the cosmos itself. This announcement marked the beginning of a new era. Humanity and aliens began to explore this new potential together. Interplanetary journeys turned into interdimensional explorations. Mind-to-mind communication created an intergalactic network. But with this new power came new responsibilities. Humanity no longer had to think only of itself, but of the entire universe. Every decision, every action had a cosmic impact. Michael realized that he, once just a scientist, had now become a being who was shaping the destiny of the universe. And this journey was only just beginning. When he looked up at the stars, he no longer saw them as just dots shining in the distance. They were now part of his home. And humanity was ready to find its place in this cosmic home. The universe held its breath, watching what this new species could do. Because now they knew that every ending was a new beginning, and their story stretched into eternity.